Alrighty guys, what is going on everybody? Welcome back here to another live stream. Happy Friday, March 28th, my friends. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Good to have you guys here for another update. Boy, do we got some changes to show you. My goodness. Okay. First of all, I don't know how I'm going to break this to you. There is another risk after this system. There's another system that we're watching now after this one for next Wednesday. SPC has issued a risk on that. Also, Sunday, we now have sort of a breakdown, and we have an upgrade on the risk here for Sunday. So we'll get into that here in a moment. But first of all, let's go ahead and see who we got here today. We have Oversteer, we have Judy, we have Tabletop, we have Misty, we have Jazz, we have Elijah, we have Hoops, we have Kyra, I think that's how you say her name. We have Renita, we have Amanda, we have Douglas, let's see, Unknown, Amber, let's see here, Simon and Jazz. What's up, guys? Hope everyone is doing well. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and jump on it, or just jump right on into this here, because we have a lot of things to talk about. So today, I'm going to go ahead and just start off here looking at today's risk here. We have a little slight risk out here for today, across portions of western Louisiana, eastern Texas here. We do have a little 5% chance for tornadoes. So a couple of tornadoes cannot be ruled out today, across portions of eastern Texas, through central western Louisiana here. So, there's a chance for a couple of tornadoes today, so we'll keep an eye out there for that. Damaging wind gusts, we do have a 5% chance out here for some damaging wind gusts, likely getting up to right around 60 miles an hour or so. And hail, we do have a little hail threat in far southern Texas here for today there overall. Now, up north, we do have a little marginal risk here. Actually, we already have a couple severe storms right now, one in southeastern Minnesota, out by Plainview. We have another one out here in kind of west central Wisconsin near Lynn and Maryland. I think that's how you say that. Towards Sherwood. So we do have a level 1 threat here overall. Up here, no tornadoes in the Midwest expected today, which is good. A little wind threat here in Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, a little bit of far southeastern South Dakota. And the hail threat does go through, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin here overall. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. So that's day one. That's today's risk. Tomorrow, we got ourselves a slight risk here, level 2 threat up across portions here of eastern Kansas, northern Oklahoma, central western Missouri here with that level 2 severe weather threat overall. That gives us a 2% chance for tornadoes. So a couple of tornadoes will be possible tomorrow. We're not really expecting anything super crazy here, regarding tornadoes, but a couple of tornadoes can't be ruled out for tomorrow. Once again, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, there is a potential for maybe an isolated tornado or two. Working our way over into the wind threat, we do have a pretty large 5% risk going all the way from basically central Texas all the way up into southern Iowa. 5% chance for some gusty winds upwards of 60 miles an hour could be possible. And lastly, hail. we got ourselves a hatch risk for hail. So this area you see is netted. You guys see how we do have this this black circle area with these dashed lines going through it. So this is the hatch risk. This is the significant risk here. So tomorrow we have potential of seeing hail 2 inches in diameter or larger across the area that's circled in black here. So that is our hatch risk area. That's a 15% chance probability of having hail 2 inches in diameter or larger. So tomorrow could be a pretty big hail day here overall. So we'll definitely look out there for that. So then we're getting our way into Sunday. Let's see here. What's up, Polly? What's up, Hurricane Heather? What's up, Vienna? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Kevin? What's up, Tabletop? Let's see here. What's up, Jamie? What's up, K-Jack? What's up, April? What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome. Elijah says, hi, I'm in Destin, Florida until Sunday. Can I check and see if we'll be in any storm risk when you get a chance? So we're actually talking about, we're getting into Sunday now. Oh, buddy. Okay, so Sunday, we now have a level 3 severe weather threat. And you see how large this enhanced risk is. That level 3 out of 5 severe weather threat, that covers a lot of ground here. A lot of ground. We're actually talking almost 26 million people in that level 3 threat alone here for Sunday. So the greatest risk as of now for severe weather on Sunday is going to be up here in northern Louisiana, Arkansas, portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Missouri. So those areas are going to kind of be in the hot spot regarding that severe weather potential. Remember, that's a level 3 severe weather threat. So that's a pretty big risk for severe weather out here. Then, of course, we have that level 2 threat that goes well into, like, central Michigan now, which is pretty interesting, and all the way down throughout, like Texas and as far east as, like, western West Virginia. I mean, this is a big risk area. So that's where your level 2 threat is, and that's, I still consider that level 2 a decent risk for severe weather. So we'll definitely need you guys to be weather aware out there as well. And then we have that level 1 threat going into like western New York State, out there by like Buffalo included there. Overall, like I mentioned, pretty large area regarding severe weather here for Sunday. Sunday's going to be a busy day. Sunday's going to be a busy, busy day, and we're definitely going to be here to help you guys out. Now, probability of severe weather, we do have basically, so I know this says 10% or higher, but that's for the significant risk. So actually that red area is a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather across the red. So roughly a 1 in 3 shot of it happening within a 25-mile radius of your location, say if you're in the red. And that gives you a 15% chance across the yellow and a 5% chance for severe weather across the brown. So you can see, we have a really large 30% chance area. Now, this region is hatched too, which is giving us potential for significant severe weather. Now, tomorrow we're going to learn the exact probability for tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. Right now, we don't quite have that breakdown, but we do have, like I said, the overall risk now, which is a level 3, a very large enhanced risk here currently. So, that's definitely something we need to look out there for. Let's see here. What's up, Mike? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Anna? Hope you're doing all right. Frankie says watching from Florida. Hey, I'm streaming from Florida. Hope you're doing good, man. How's Frankfort, Kentucky looking? Frankfort's actually now in that level 3 threat, so heads up to you. We'll definitely, we'll get into models and stuff like that here soon. Tabletop says I'm worried about Monday. So, yeah, unfortunately Monday, let's actually talk about Monday's risk here. They actually extended Monday's risk now all the way up into, deep into New England now. I mean, yesterday, if you guys were here during the stream, that 15% cutoff was, right there towards central New Jersey. But the Storm Prediction Center has actually increased or expanded that risk for severe weather now into areas like, Pennsylvania, New York, I mean, even Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. We have a lot of that 15% that's expanded its way to the northeast here overall. So, that is definitely something that we need to consider. So my folks up in New England, make sure you guys are staying weather aware here as well for Monday overall. Chris, my man, coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Chris. That's very, very sweet of you, my friend. Big shout out goes to Chris, absolutely shattering that goal for today. Thank you so much, Chris. You're awesome, dude. I really appreciate your support. Y'all in chat, please give Chris a big thank you for the support. I appreciate that, my friend. Chris, big thank you. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so then of course, going our way into Monday here too. I mean, that risk even goes up into like northern Florida with that 15% chance probability of severe weather. So yeah, definitely need to watch out there for Monday as well. Now, like I mentioned, unfortunately, we have another risk that we're watching too. So this is Tuesday, not really expecting anything on Tuesday, but going our way into the extended range on Wednesday. Yet again, we have another really large area here for possible severe weather. So this is going to be next Wednesday, another potential for severe weather here. And this includes, areas from Texas all the way up to the Great Lakes, including like Michigan. So once again, another big risk for severe weather on Wednesday. So it's not just Sunday, Monday now. We have Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday now for potential of decent severe weather. So I just want to go ahead and let you all know that that is in the extended range here now. So there's another system that we're watching here for Wednesday. Just want to go ahead and give you, that update there. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's on the table now. So once again, here for Monday, Sunday, we have that big level 3 threat here. 30% chance probability of severe weather in the orange. Level 2 threat across the yellow, 15% chance probability for severe weather in the yellow, and the green, the level 1 threat, a 5% chance probability for severe weather in general. So that is that. And of course, if you guys are wondering what this light green is, this is the general thunderstorm risk. Just means that a couple, booms of thunder couldn't be ruled out. So if you hear a few booms, don't be surprised in these areas in red. Red. These areas in light green, there will be potential for a couple of thunderstorms overall. But severe weather is expected to mostly be within the green, yellow, and orange area, with the greatest risk here in that orange level 3 threat. So that's there for Sunday. Once again, Monday here we have that expansion to the east, now including portions of upper New England. So we'll need to look out there for possible severe weather as well. And then of course Tuesday, nothing going on, and then Wednesday we got that other severe weather event that we're watching here. Okay, so that's that. We're getting ready to get in the models and stuff like that here too, so we'll be able to help you guys out overall. Let's see here. Do I think there'll be a PDS? Hold on. Do I think there will be a PDS in issue for those level 3? It's hard to tell, April. So for people who don't know what PDS is, it stands for particularly dangerous situation. That could range for multiple things. We'll see. I mean, there is the potential for significant severe weather overall here for Sunday. That's pretty much all we can tell you right now. And like I said, we do have that big hatch risk area for the potential of significant severe weather. So, these areas here really, really need to be weather aware on Sunday. If you guys are across the red here, just make sure you are extra weather aware, as, not only do you have a high probability of seeing severe weather, but also you have a good probability of seeing, significant severe weather, potential, large damaging wind gusts, tornadic activity, hail. I hate to tell you guys this, but, I got to mention it. That tornado risk that we've been talking about, remember how in the beginning I was saying it seems like the lowest concern? It seems like the tornado risk might be increasing, unfortunately. So we'll definitely, actually, we're going to do that now. We're just going to go ahead and jump our way into models like we have been, and we'll do some personal forecasts for you guys, because, getting that information out to you all is very important. So I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Anyways, let's see here. All right, so we're going to start off with Janice here. Let's see here. Wants me to take a look at a zip code. Gotcha, Janice. Let's go ahead and take a look at that here. So let's go ahead and bring up the region. So, okay, so you are in that level 1 risk here for Sunday. That is a marginal risk. That's a 5% chance probability of seeing severe weather. So hopping over here, we're going to pull up the GFS. I feel like NAM is a little aggressive, I ain't gonna lie. But that's not unlike NAM, to be quite honest with you. So we work our way down in time here. You can see pretty much for late Sunday going into Monday. So GFS suggests maybe very low amounts of energy, low end instability. Nothing really super crazy according to according to the GFS. NAM, on the other hand, here you can see a little bit of instability does work its way in here for pretty much late Sunday going into early Monday. That's why they have a marginal level 1 threat, is because, there is still a little bit of instability, which could support some storm and perhaps severe weather, if the other conditions are met. So that's why you're in the level 1 threat. Your threat appears pretty low as of right now, so we'll definitely keep it out there for your region. But just know there's a little chance for severe weather here on Sunday, late Sunday going into early Monday. Overseer says, hey, bud, can I take a look at Jonesboro, Arkansas? Right on top of Jonesboro. I know I asked a lot. Can I do a sound? Or So I can do a sounding for myself. Just really want to understand photographs. Yeah, I got you. Let me do Jonesboro real quickly. Go ahead and pull this up for you. I'll be more than glad to help you, my friend. It's good to get that info out for you. So yeah, as you probably know, you are in that level 3 threat here for severe weather on Sunday, which that's as of now the greatest concern area. So we'll definitely need to keep an eye out there for that region here overall. So just a bit of a heads up there for you. Now, looking over at the models here, we're going to look at NAM real quickly. So you can see, NAM suggests a pretty good amount of instability here throughout the region. So you being up in like northeastern, oops, my window's closed. That's always nice. We always love that. So yeah, you being up here in kind of northeastern Arkansas, we do have ourselves, why is this thing? Hold on. Get everything back up here. Pretty good amount of instability out here. We're going to go ahead and hop our way up here into northeastern Arkansas real quickly just to grab a little sounding here. So, all right, so NAM does suggest that there could be some rotation going on here. Whoa, that is a really thick pin there here. So in our lower atmosphere towards ground level, our winds are going to the northeast, and as we gain altitude, our wind direction is changing a little bit more to the east. So looking at our hodograph, you notice how there's an arch here. That is suggesting that, starting at ground level here at this point here, and as we go up in altitude, the wind direction is changing, kind of going roughly from the northeast, then changing more to the east as we go up in altitude. And actually as well, not only is it changing direction, but the wind speeds are actually increasing, meaning that those winds are getting stronger the higher you go up. Now, given that, once again, also looking at at our helicity values here, between that veering and our helicity here, it does suggest maybe some tornadic activity being possible. So that is something that I think we definitely should keep an eye out there for. Also, there's going to be potential for some damaging wind gusts, I believe, as well. So between damaging wind gusts and, the potential out there for, maybe a little bit of tornadic activity, we'll definitely need to look out there for that overall. Let's see here. Yargan, thank you so much, dude, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. Once we take a look at the zip code, got you, my friend. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you real quickly. Yargan, thank you for the 5, man. I appreciate that. So you're up in Illinois. Okay, so you are in that level 3 threat here for Sunday. Definitely do need you to be weather aware out here. Looking at the models, we're going to hop back up here towards Illinois. So you're kind of roughly down in this portion of southeastern Illinois. So we're going to grab a sounding just to kind of see what the atmosphere could look like. Remember, as I always say, this is one model. This is one model run, so take this lightly. But given the environment here, kind of like what we were looking at in the last sounding, you see how there's a bit of a change in wind direction with altitude. So this is our ground level. So this is surface level. Winds are going to the north. And as we climb up in altitude, the wind direction does change its way here to the northeast. And our hodograph does have this arch on it, which, like I said, is suggesting that we have some veering winds going on. So winds increasing in wind speed and direction with altitude. So given that, there is definitely potential out there for, a lot of, or I wouldn't say a lot of, but, potential for tornadic activity here, with these storms here. And there also will be potential out there for some damaging wind gusts here as well. Decape values are pretty high, that downwards energy is pretty high, which gives potential for some damaging wind gusts and whatnot. Maybe some hail. Kind of a triple threat sounding here. We need to look out for all hazards. Tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. So, we'll keep you updated. But yeah, given your area, you are in that enhanced risk, that level 3 threat. The atmosphere in the region will be capable of all hazards. So keep that in mind, my friend. All right, let's see here. Next up, we got Hoops. Got you, my friend. Let's go and take a look at your zip code. So you are up here in Illinois as well. You are literally not too far away from the last area. So you're here in western, kind of southwestern Illinois. So the same thing pretty much kind of applies to you as well. If we grab another sounding out here from NAM in southwestern Illinois, remember this is just one model too, one model run and whatnot. But yeah, really not a lot of difference here. I mean, the NAM here does suggest that veering winds, that arch on our hodograph, suggesting that, winds are changing directions as we gain altitude in the lower levels and increasing in wind speed, which, gives that potential for, tornadic environment here. So tornadoes will be a concern. We have a relatively dry mid-lower level atmosphere. Now, honestly, hail growth would be a pretty good concern for this area as well, given that our atmosphere in our lower mid-levels is fairly dry with a pretty good amount of instability on that layer too. Could definitely support some pretty large hail growth. So tornadoes, damaging winds, and potential for a couple of tornadoes can't be ruled out. So, once again, kind of a triple concern, triple threat for this sounding here. So just make sure that you are staying weather aware, my friend. You are in that enhanced risk as well, that level 3 severe weather threat, which gives you a 30% chance probability overall, of seeing severe weather. So that is that. Let's see here. All right, Sniper wants me to take a look here for Sunday's outlook. Gotcha. Let's go ahead and take a look here at your outlook. You, my friend. Okay, so you are not in the risk here for severe weather on Sunday, but I do believe Saturday you might be. Tomorrow. Yeah, so tomorrow you do have a slight risk here. Not for Sunday, but for Saturday. You got a level 2 threat out there for severe weather probability. That does give you a 2% chance for tornadoes, which is a relatively low-end threat, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much. But, keep an eye on the weather. If a tornado warning gets issued nearby or for you, just make sure you know where to go. But the tornado threat's fairly low, so I wouldn't really stress over it too much. And if we did get tornadic activity, it would likely remain weak and brief overall. We have a 5% chance for damaging wind gusts, capable of producing some gusty winds upwards of, 60 miles an hour, being a concern. Regarding hail, we do actually have a 15% significant risk out here for hail potential, potentially getting 2 inches in diameter or greater. That's a 15% chance probability overall. So definitely keep an eye out there for that in those regions there for tomorrow, being there for Saturday. Yeah, okay, yes, I see where you wrote down Saturdays. Yeah, so yeah, keep it out there for Saturday, my friend. Sunday, you're good. April, I got you. By the way, guys, I'm a little far behind in chat, so y'all please be patient. Like I said, I'm trying to get to everybody as I can, So y'all hang tight. Okay, so you, my friend, are in southwestern Tennessee here, April. So this is for you. Looking at Sunday's concern, you are in that level 3 severe weather threat out there. So taking a look at the models here, as we approach our way into pretty much really late Sunday, going into early Monday, potential for nocturnal severe weather, so nighttime severe weather. Looking at a sounding, what the atmosphere could look like at this point in time. Okay, so what I do notice here, like the other soundings we've been kind of pulling here, is that, it does really seem like that tornado threat, just in general for this event, has increased quite a bit. So we do have a bit of veering winds here, meaning that our winds in the lower atmosphere are, in this case, are moving to the north. And as we gain altitude, the wind direction shifts its way kind of to the northeast, or relatively east-northeast. So because of that, our wind direction is changing and our wind speeds are increasing with altitude. Which does give the potential for a tornadic environment. So there is going to be potential for tornadoes, maybe even a little bit of hail as well. A little bit of hail, maybe some gusty winds, kind of a triple threat sounding. So tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds, unfortunately, do seem to be like a possibility towards that region. It doesn't mean you will see one, of course. It just means that the environment will be capable of producing, all hazards of severe weather out there. Okay? Anyways, let me see here. I am a little bit far behind. I'm so sorry, you guys. All right, so let's see here. Can I check on Bristol, Tennessee? I got you, my friend. Let me take a look real quickly, see what we got going on up in Bristol, Tennessee. Okay, so Sunday, you're not in the risk, but Monday, I think you are. So working our way into Monday here, you do have a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather on Monday. So Monday is going to be your risk day for severe weather potential. So taking a look here at a sounding here. So this is pretty much for the afternoon of, pretty much the afternoon here of Monday overall. So given the atmosphere, it really doesn't seem like tornadoes would be much of a concern. I mean, given the environment here, doesn't seem like that's much of an issue. However, what I do see that could be a concern is, maybe some gusty winds, given that our lower levels are, still fairly strong. Those winds are still, a little strong in our lower atmosphere. Pretty low decape. I think we could see some gusty winds and, some damaging wind gusts on that storm system rolling through. But, given the environment here, tornadoes I don't see being much of a big concern. But, I wouldn't rule it out completely. But, just given everything here, given the wind shear, the kinematics and whatnot, it doesn't seem like tornadoes are going to be that much of a problem. So just look out for mostly, I'd say, gusty winds and whatnot. All right, let's see here. Jenna says, how is Sunday night in the zip code? Gotcha. I'm just going to take a look here. We're going to hop back to Sunday's risk here. By the way, guys, if you could leave a like, hit that subscribe button. It'll be greatly appreciated. That way we can keep you guys weather aware. Okay, so actually Sunday, Jenna, Sunday you're not in the risk here for Virginia. However, Monday you will be. So Monday you're included in that 15% chance probability for severe weather. So with that being said, hopping up to the models here. Up across like Virginia. So here for Monday, let's go ahead and grab a little sounding out there towards like Richmond, just to kind of see, once again, what the atmosphere could look like. Okay, so I do see a little bit of a change in wind direction. So a little bit of veering winds in the lower atmosphere. So winds at surface level are going basically to the north-northeast. As we gain altitude, wind direction does shift a little bit here to the northeast. And, there's a little itty-bitty arch on our photograph here. Honestly, not really anything significant for tornadic activity. If we did get tornadoes, it would likely remain on the lower side, relatively weak, relatively brief as well. Good news is that our wind shear isn't super, super wild throughout the atmosphere. But the main concern in this sounding, I would say, is going to be the potential for some, gusty winds and some damaging wind gusts on these storms here. Decape is not anything excessive, but it's up there. And given that our lower level winds are still, 40 knots or so, we definitely could see some gusty winds and whatnot in those storms, so we'll have to watch out for that potential. Maybe even a little bit of hail as well. But tornadoes, while they're not going to be completely ruled out, I don't believe so. Just given from what that sounding suggested, if we did get tornadic activity, it would likely be on the lower side of things, on the lower scale overall. Okay, so hopefully that helped. Zay says, can I do Tulsa? Yeah, I got you. So Tulsa, let's see here. So that would be for Sunday. I don't know if Sunday. Yep. So actually, look at that. Tulsa is right on the edge of that severe weather threat here for Sunday. However, I'm a little bit more concerned for Saturday, tomorrow. So tomorrow, you do have a little 2% chance for tornadoes, 5% chance for damaging wind gusts, and a 15% hatch risk for hail. Potential for hail 2 inches in diameter and greater. For Sunday, like I mentioned, though, we have a little marginal risk here. There is no breakdown quite yet, between the tornadoes, large hail, and damaging wind threat right now. But that threat does continue, into Sunday with a level 1 threat. So, but your main concern is actually going to be on Saturday or tomorrow instead. All hazards as possible. Let's see. Renee says, can I check on 45102? Super nervous about Sunday, but not sure what to expect. I got you. Yeah, let's go and take a look at your area, my friend. See what we got going on. Okay, so you are in the level 3 threat. You're in that level 3 severe weather threat, so you are in a decent risk for severe weather on Sunday. So yes, definitely remain weather aware. Looking at the models, given what we could see here pretty much for late Sunday, I'm going to grab a sounding. Actually, let's hop to GFS here. Like I said, I feel like NAM might be a little aggressive a little bit here. So let's see what the GFS kind of suggests here. So this is for late Sunday going into early Monday. We're going to grab a sounding here according to what GFS is suggesting. So GFS, okay, so one thing I do want to point out here, we do have a little bit of veering in our lower atmosphere, so we do have a little bit of that curvature on our photograph here too. So tornadic activity cannot be ruled out. However, if we did get tornadoes, they would likely remain on the lower scale, likely remain lower. And if we did get tornadoes, there's a chance that they'd be pretty brief as well. Relatively weak, relatively brief tornadic activity is possible. given that, damaging wind gusts, I think, could be a concern as well, and everything. So honestly, damaging wind gusts and maybe some weak tornadic activity could be quite possible here for the region. So we'll definitely keep you informed. That's what I would expect as of now. Remember, this is also one model run here as well. Let me try NAM. See what the NAM kind of suggests here for this this environment here and everything. Let's just see how they kind of compare. So NAM, you can kind of see actually takes the environment a little bit more stronger. Still that arch on our hodograph here indicating that there is a aggressive change in wind direction and wind speed in our lower atmosphere as we gain altitude. So that does give the potential for tornadoes, yes. It shows a little bit more of a concern for damaging wind gusts on the NAM sounding here. But main concern here kind of still stands. Tornadic activity and gusty winds out of the storms seems to be kind of the main concern for this area here. Okay, so just be weather aware, keep an eye out there for it, and we'll keep you updated. All right, I am really, really far behind in the chat. I am so sorry, guys. Like I said, it's going to take me a little bit probably to get to y'all's zip codes, but I'm trying. Let's see here. Michael says, what's up, man? Thank you for all you do. Would you mind taking a look at 45801? I got you. Got you. By the way, guys, if you could consider leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button, greatly appreciated. So you are in that level 3 threat, my friend. You're in that enhanced risk here for Sunday. So the scale, like I said, goes up from a level 1 to level 5. The maximum threat for Sunday is a level 3, and you are in that level 3 threat, which is a decent risk out there for severe weather. So with that being said, looking at the environment here, let's take a look at NAM here. So as we approach our way into pretty much late Sunday going into early Monday, so your area, let's go ahead and grab a little sounding here. This is kind of more for early Monday here, but taking a look at the sounding. So tornadic activity seems possible, given that veering winds in the lower atmosphere, that sudden change in wind direction and wind speed with altitude. So given that, tornadic activity does seem to be possible concern. Possibility for some damaging wind gusts, maybe some small hail as well. Could be a concern in a sounding like that. So that's what I would keep an eye out there for here overall. Let's see here. Renita coming in with a 5. Thank you so much, Renita. Saying, hi, Andrew. Did mine change? Tornado. What's the winds? I got you, Renita. Thank you once again for the 5. I appreciate your support. Helps keep us afloat. I appreciate it, my friend. So here, your threat's going to be on Monday. So let me grab a sounding out here by you real quickly. We'll just kind of see what's going on out here towards your region. Okay, so there is not much veering winds here, although I wouldn't be able to rule out tornadic activity. Tornadoes are going to be possible, but I don't think they're going to be the main concern. I think your main concern is going to be the threat for some gusty winds within these storms. It's a little early to be for sure exactly how strong those wind gusts could be, but somewhere likely between the range of 60 maybe to 70 miles an hour seems possible. That's a potential within those storms. That's not, outside of the storm. So, don't go into this expecting 70 mile an hour winds or whatnot. Just know that, some gusty winds in those storms could get up that high, potentially, But it is still a little early to be for sure on that right now, considering we are still, 4 days or so out from your risk here. So there's still a little bit of time for changes and whatnot. But anyways, so yeah, damaging wind gusts as well. Damaging winds cannot rule out tornadic activity here. Maybe a little bit of hail as well. It's kind of a triple threat here, suggesting the possibility out there for kind of all hazards being a concern. So definitely be weather aware here for Monday, because Monday is going to be that day where you do have that threat there overall. So we'll definitely need you to keep an eye out there for that. Okay. All right, William, I got you, my friend. Let's go and take a look here at William's zip code. You, my friend, are up here in Missouri. So you are in that level 2 severe weather threat here for Sunday. So you're kind of in that middle threat here overall. So with that being said here, hopping our way over here to the models, looking overall at your region here. So for pretty much late Saturday, going into early Sunday, we really start to build our start to build in some instability throughout Missouri here. It seems like the environment might be capped out, so storms could have a little bit of an issue firing off in this environment, but you are in that level 2 threat here from the Storm Prediction Center. So given this sounding, one thing I do notice, like I said, is that there's actually a little bit of a warm layer in our lower atmosphere that might slow, if not stop, thunderstorms from really developing. So it's going to be a little hard for storms to fire, but we'll see what happens. Say if storms were able to fire, which it does seem quite possible, given that cap's not super strong, but since we have strong forcing from that cold front and whatnot, I think that storms could easily probably break through that. Anyways, with that being said, main concern is going to be the threat for some damaging wind gusts, actually hail threat as well. Damaging winds and hail. We cannot rule out tornadic activity, but given weak lower level winds, or I wouldn't say weak, but lower level winds in the atmosphere, tornadic activity is possible, but likely wouldn't be anything significant overall. So that's kind of your concern here. Let's see here. Kevin says, Andy, I appreciate how you answer your viewers' questions. You're the best. I appreciate that, my friend. Like I said, y'all, please be patient. I know it's, like I said, I'm only one guy, and I have a lot of zip codes to go through. So y'all hang tight. We'll get there. I'm just going down the list here. All right, Jinx, I got you, my friend. Let's take a look at yours. You're up here in Illinois. Okay, so you're actually near Chicago. So you are just outside of that level 3 threat. You do have a level 2 slight risk here for severe weather. Looking at the models here, we're gonna hop our way over here to the Midwest here, so we can kind of look. So as we approach our way into late Sunday, we're gonna grab a sounding out here by your area. Once again, this is one model, so we're just kind of seeing what the atmosphere could look like around that time. So there's a little bit of veering winds, just a little bit. So the winds are slightly changing direction and increasing in speed with altitude. That does give tornadic potential. Helicity, also kind of supports that as well. Kind of lower scale, though. So tornadic activity is possible. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for that. I think that gusty winds and maybe even some hail, kind of a triple threat sounding here as well, could be a possibility. But, remember, you're in that level 2 severe weather threat. That gives you a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather overall. So that's that. Hoop says, thank you, no problem. Let's see here. Nicole, I got you. Let's go and take a look at your area real quickly. So you are in Tennessee. You are in that level 3 severe weather threat. I got you, my friend. So you are kind of in the big threat here for Sunday, so make sure you are staying weather aware. I did grab some soundings earlier kind of for that area, and what it did suggest is that, all hazards, tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds does kind of seem to be a possibility. So, definitely keep it out there for that. So looking at a sounding again here, I mean, it's kind of just suggesting that here overall. So we do have, some veering winds here. So our lower level winds at surface level are moving to the north. As we gain altitude, the wind direction does change a little bit here to the northeast. You can see on our photograph, there's a little bit of a curvature here, a little bit of an arch, suggesting that very thing we just talked about. So given that, and given other parameters like helicity and whatnot, tornadic activity does seem to be a concern. So we'll need to look out there for tornadic possibility. Now, regarding damaging wind gusts, some gusty winds within the storm here too is going to be quite possible, and even some large hail here. The SARS analog system here does have some results here, potential large hail. So kind of a triple threat sounding here. So for your region, I would definitely keep an eye out there for all hazards being a concern. Like I mentioned, you are in that level 3 severe weather threat, which is kind of the big threat overall. Can I do Morgantown? I'm not sure where Morgantown is, but I can try to pull it up. I'm not sure what state that's in. See, there's Morgan Township, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Minnesota. If you could be a little bit more specific with that, I'd be much appreciated, because I'm not sure exactly where you want me to look here. All right, let's see here. All right, next up we got ourselves, see Gabby says, just got here. How does Nashville look, and do I have approximate timing yet? If you already did Nashville, I will go back and watch. So actually, we just covered relatively near Nashville. So all hazards, like we mentioned, is going to be a concern for your area. Tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. You're in a level 3 severe weather threat. So all hazards, like I mentioned, will be a concern. Overall, right now, you have a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather within your region, within a 25-mile radius of you. It's a 30% chance probability, collectively overall, of seeing severe weather within 25 miles of you. It's a 30% chance. So that is that. Timing wise, so given a look at models, it might still be a little early for specifics here, but it does look like that sometime, honestly, kind of early Monday. You can see from NAM here suggesting kind of that line rolling through, kind of early morning Monday. Unfortunately, it does look like that severe weather will be at nighttime. So look out there for the nocturnal threat of severe weather. So it looks like it'll be relatively late throughout the night. But remember, that's still a little early, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, let's see here. Safe wants me to take a look at the zip code. Got you, my friend. Let's see what we got going on here. By the way, guys, if you could, consider leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button, and sharing. It'll be greatly appreciated. All right, my friend, you are out here by Bowling Green here in Kentucky. So you got a level 3 severe weather threat out here, my friend. So that puts you kind of in the the great concern here for severe weather. So you're in that level 3 threat. That's an overall 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather. Now, looking at the models overall here, so this is the NAM model, kind of for early Monday. We're going to grab a sounding, once again, just to kind of preview what the atmosphere could look like around this time. So we do have some veering winds in the lower atmosphere. So we are having the potential for tornadic activity. Yes, it does seem to be a potential concern here. Our lower level winds, at surface level, moving to the north. We gain a little bit of altitude. The wind direction does change to the east, kind of, east-northeast here. Photograph does have that, that arch there suggesting, that change in wind direction and an increase in wind speed with altitude as well. Tornadoes does seem to be a concern. Also, large hail as well. We have a lot of results here, from the SARS analog system here. It does suggest, there's a lot of results there. Hail does seem to be a concern, given this environment here. Tornadoes as well. And, of course, some damaging wind gusts could not be ruled out as well. So kind of a triple threat sounding here as well. Potential for all hazards here. Once again, you are in that level 3 severe weather threat here overall. So we'll definitely need to make sure that you are staying weather aware. Okay. All right. Let's see here. How far am I behind? I am really, really, really far behind. I am so sorry, everybody. We are really far behind the chat, but I am trying my hardest to get to as many as possible. All right, Logan, I got you, my friend. Let's take a look at yours. Let's see here. You're up in Illinois, up here kind of towards Chicago. Gotcha. So Chicago, we actually did do a sounding here a little bit ago. So Chicago area does have a kind of a small potential for tornadic activity. However, severe weather is going to be kind of limited the more north you go up here. Looking at the sounding here from NAM, kind of see what we're looking at here. So there's a little bit of veering going on here. Tornadic activity in the sounding seems pretty minimal. Not much instability going on. Honestly, this just kind of shows a concern for maybe some gusty winds, some low-end winds and whatnot. You're in that level 2 threat. You're right on the edge of it. Severe weather, will likely not be as significant or as strong up here as it will for, say, like areas in southern and central Illinois. Gusty winds kind of seems to be the main concern on that sounding that we grabbed. But you're just on the edge of that level 2 threat overall. So definitely need you to be weather aware here for Sunday. That puts you in a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather overall. Okay. Sniper says, is it still possible to get a tornado from a 2%? Yeah, I mean, given that a 2% tornado risk is a very low tornado risk, and the odds are you're probably not, but it's still a risk for tornadic activity. Even in a 2%, it is a very low risk, but we can't rule it out essentially. Okay, let's see, Amanda, I got you, my friend. Let's go and take a look at your zip code. You're up here in Indiana. We have ourselves a level 3 severe weather threat here for for Sunday. So that puts you in the, like I said, the overall 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather within a 25-mile radius of your location here. So looking at the models here overall. Okay, so this is pretty much for late Sunday here going into Monday. We're going to grab a sounding out here, just kind of see what the atmosphere could look like. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so there is a bit of veering winds here we can see. So the wind direction, like I said, changes with altitude. As we gain altitude, a little bit of an increase in wind speeds as well. A little bit of a hook on our photograph here. Helicity values are pretty decent as well. So given this, we do have ourselves a pretty decent chance out there for severe weather in general, of course, being in that level 3 threat. But, given the sounding here, tornadic activity does seem to be a concern here overall. So we'll definitely need to look out there for that in general. So we'll definitely keep you, in the loop here. Also, damaging winds seems to be a concern, maybe some hail. Tornadic activity, damaging winds might be the leading concern, with a little bit of hail still being possible as well. So we'll definitely be here to, to keep you weather aware out there. Anyways, let's see here. Oh, my goodness. Proxy coming in with a $75 donation. Holy cow. Proxy, thank you so much for the 75. I appreciate it. That is really generous of you, Prox. Thank you so much for your support. Saying, hi, Andrew and NW16 family. Northeast Ohio is looking bad. Yikes. So, yeah, Prox, you are in that level 2 severe weather threat. Thank you, though, once again, seriously, for the 75. That is really, really generous. Really, really sweet of you. Y'all in chat, please give Proxy a big thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. So Prox, yeah, you are in that level 2 threat for severe weather. So given the environment here, we're going to take a look here for pretty much, it seems like your threat might be pretty much for late Sunday going into early Monday. Let me go ahead and grab a little sounding out here towards your area just to kind of see what we got going on here. This is just one model, by the way, one model run and whatnot. So just, a suggestion of what things could look like. Okay. So given the environment here, there is a bit of veering. There is a little bit of potential for tornadic activity. Just given that, that change in wind direction and an increase in wind speed with altitude. Photographs, we do have a bit of an arch here. Once again, suggesting that there is some veering, some churning in the atmosphere. That could be possible. Helicity does indicate, an environment where tornadic activity, once again, could be a concern. So tornadoes, yes, could be a concern. Also the threat for maybe some, relatively lower end hail. I'm not really thinking significant hail being a big concern, although some hail could be possible on these storms, and maybe even some gusty winds as well. But yeah, you are in that level 2 severe weather threat. That gives you an overall 15% chance, probability of seeing severe weather here overall. So that is your threat, Proxy. Once again, thank you so much for the 75. That is really, really generous, really, really sweet of you. Big, big thank you goes to you, Prox. Seriously, that is really, really sweet of you. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. All right, let's see here. All right, we're going to go ahead and scroll down a little bit. So, Nicole, I got you, my friend. Did we already do Nicole's? I feel like we might have, but let me double check just to make sure. Maybe we didn't. This is up in Tennessee. Okay, so northwestern Tennessee here. So we already went over this area a couple of times, but you probably weren't here. But so northwest Tennessee, all hazards will be a concern here. I remember soundings, pulling soundings in this area. Tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds will be a concern. You have a 30% chance probability overall of seeing severe weather within a 25-mile radius of your location. So all hazards does seem to be a concern. So keep an eye out there for that. All right, Polly, I got you. Let's see here. All right, Polly, I got you, my friend. Let's go and take a look at your zip code. Let's see here, up here in Texas. So for Sunday, you are in the marginal level 1 threat. So you're at a low severe weather threat overall, Polly. So yeah, for Sunday, your threat is pretty low. Keep it out there for the possibility for a couple of, isolated severe storms, but, your threat is relatively low. You have a 5% chance probability of seeing severe weather within a 25-mile radius of your location. All right, let's see here. Renee says, thank you, Andrew. You're always the one to go to with your weather knowledge. It's so impressive. It always helps us understand what will be happening with the weather. Thank you again. You're very welcome, Renee. Like I said, I'm glad to help out. That's what I'm here for. But I really appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate it. All right, severe forecast wants me to take a look at a zip code. You are up here in South Carolina, my friend. So you are not in the risk for Sunday, but Monday you do have that 15% chance area. So Monday we're going to need you to be weather aware here for Monday. A little bit of severe weather is going to be possible out here. So looking at the models here, we're going to go ahead and hop our way over here to the Mid-Atlantic region. So as we approach our way into kind of the afternoon here of Monday, let's grab a sounding, kind of see what the atmosphere could be capable of doing. Tornadoes does seem possible. There's a little bit of veering, a little bit of an arch on our photograph here. Helicity values does support that. So tornadoes could be a concern, possibly some gusty winds and some hail as well. Our lower level winds are fairly strong. Decape's pretty low. I do think still damaging wind gusts could be a concern given this environment and, given the storm mode here, likely being a long line of storms. So gusty winds, tornadic activity, and maybe some hail, kind of a triple threat could be possible out there. So you're in a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather overall. All right, Misty, I got you. Let's take a look at yours real quickly. So let's go ahead and hop our way over here. So you are in the threat here for Sunday. Let's go ahead and hop our way to the day 3 outlook. So you, my friend, are in a level 2 severe weather threat. So you're kind of in that middle level here overall. So it looks like storms are going to be rolling through here actually pretty early on Sunday. Let me grab a sounding here, see kind of what we could be seeing out there. Remember, once again, guys, this is just one model run, so we'll take this lightly. There's a bit of veering. Tornadic potential is there. I do see a pretty good amount of instability throughout the atmosphere. Our lower mid-level winds are definitely pretty strong. Given that cyclone that we have, really ramping up those lower level winds. Now, in general, damaging wind gusts, yes, I definitely think will be a decent concern. Maybe some small hail. Tornadic activity will be possible. Overall, you have a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather in general. All right. You said ask you tomorrow about 37809. Gotcha. Let me take a look at it. See what we got going on out here. All right, my friend, you are up here in eastern Tennessee. So you have a 15% chance probability for severe weather on Monday. Let me see what the models suggest. So since we have NAM now available, we're going to take a look in some mid-range model support here. So let's see. You, my friend, okay, you're kind of very far eastern Tennessee. Let's just grab a sounding. Once again, kind of see what the atmosphere could be capable of doing. Okay, so the good news is that, in this environment here, our winds, both in our lower, our mid, and our upper atmosphere, are mostly flowing relatively in the same direction. Our photograph, you can see it's just pretty much a straight line, indicating that the winds are increasing in wind speed with altitude, but not really changing direction. So given that, tornadoes doesn't seem to be much of a problem in a sounding like this anyways. The main concern could just be potential for some gusty winds within the line here. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for it. Now, given the timing of storms, like I said, it's still a little early, but sometime probably in the afternoon, early afternoon, maybe of Monday, is kind of when that line of storms would likely be rolling through. But, like I said, the timing's still a little iffy given the fact that this is still like 4 days out. So, that's still a little bit early overall. Alrighty. Let me go ahead and see. See, Gabby says, you're awesome. Thank you so much. No problem. You're very welcome. Why am I not using Weather Bell? Because I prefer these other ones as well. I'm not too much of a fan of Weather Bell, to be quite honest with you. All right, Janice, let's take a look at yours. See what we got going on. You, my friend, are up here actually in New Hampshire. So they did extend Monday's risk, but you are just barely outside of that risk area. Yep. So you can see here for Monday, that 15% chance probability for severe weather did get extended really right up to your doorstep, essentially. So you're not in the official risk from the Storm Prediction Center here. So, as of right now, we're not in the risk area. So let's look at GFS. So GFS kind of really lacks in the Department of Instability here for your area. Euro, on the other hand, you can see that there is still some traces of instability or potential thunderstorm fuel, through the region here. to be quite honest, I'm not really worried about your location. I think you're kind of high enough north where, you know, a lot of those ingredients aren't going to really reach you. So that's that. Overbuilt says, thumbs up, Andy deserves it. Very good job at weather. I appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate it. Once again, Proxy, thank you for the 75. I appreciate that. I'm just now getting to that part of the part of the chat, dude. I am so far behind. I am so far behind. Oversteer, I don't know if there is going to be a moderate. Obviously, I'm not SPC. I can't tell you if there will be or not, but we'll see. I mean, we're just going to kind of go off what the SPC has now, because Storm Prediction Center is really, you know, what we need to go through, you know, regarding the risk. Like I said, I in SPC, I can't really tell you if we're going to be in a moderate or not for some areas. You know, that's totally up to models and how they, you know, continue to progress, and you know, how much they agree, and you know, just overall a lot of factors included. Let's see here. MD says, can I do a sounding for Troy, Ohio, Andrew? I appreciate it, and thank you for all you do. Wish I had extra money to donate. You guys don't have to donate. I appreciate the people who do, but definitely don't have to. Like I said, the main goal here is just to keep you all weather updated. That is what we're here for, but I appreciate it. All right, so let's see here. You're in Western Ohio. Gotcha. Let's go and pull up NAM here. We're going to hop up towards the Midwest region. So, okay, so you, my friend, yeah, you're kind of in the western side of Ohio. Let's go and grab a sounding here just to kind of see what the atmosphere could be doing. What the atmosphere doing. Okay, so in the lower atmosphere, we do have a bit of veering going on. So you can see that, you know, there is that little bit of veering winds in the lower atmosphere, and the hodograph does have that arch there too. Helicity, you know, is, like I said, also kind of supporting the potential for, you know, rotation and some spin in the lower atmosphere. So tornadoes, yes, is a concern. Damaging wind gusts does seem to be a concern as well. I mean, given high decate values and relatively decent lower level winds, you know, so damaging wind gusts will be a concern too. Maybe some small hail as well. So hail, damaging winds, and tornadic activity does seem to be a concern up there overall. Misty, already did your zip code. Let's see here. Was blind, wants me to take a look here at a zip code. Gotcha. Let's see here. You're up in Arkansas. So hopping back here to Sunday's risk here overall. We do have a level 3 severe weather threat out here. So you're in that level 3. That gives you a 30% chance probability overall for seeing severe weather out here. So that's that. Hopping our way over here back to like northeastern Arkansas. Let's go and grab another little sounding here. Let's see what we got going on out here. Pretty good amount of instability here from NAM, though. So lower level winds are fairly weak. If we did get tornadic activity, it would likely remain weaker. A little bit of veering, not much. Helicity's on the lower scale. So main concern, though, I mean, we do have a pretty good amount of instability. Hail and damaging winds kind of seems to be the main concern, but we cannot rule out tornadic activity in this environment either. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. Darian wants me to take a look here, or Darren wants me to take a look at a zip code. Gotcha. By the way, guys, if you could leave a like, hit that subscribe button. It'll be greatly appreciated. Okay, so you're up here by the St. Louis area. So that does put you in a level 3 severe weather threat. So you do have a decent risk out there for severe weather. That gives you a 30% chance probability overall of seeing severe weather. So... and that's within a 25-mile radius of your location. So within 25 miles around you, there is a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather. So as we approach our way in kind of to the afternoon, evening of Sunday, that appears to be when your risk is going to mostly be. There's a little bit of veering in the atmosphere. Tornadic activity seems to be a lower concern. Can't rule out tornadic activity, but main concern is damaging winds, honestly. Damaging wind gusts and maybe some small hail. Tornadoes can't be ruled out either, but you know that kind of seems to be your main concern. You know, just given a sounding like that. Remember, that's also one model run. You know, so it's just one of many opinions there. So you know, we're just kind of quickly getting an idea of what it could be capable of doing. So all hazards, you know, is possible, but I think your main concern might be just some damaging wind gusts overall. All right, Freebird, I got you. Hi, Andrew. When you have a time, could I take a look at a zip code? I got you. Gotcha. You, my friend, are up here in Indiana. You got a level 3 threat as well, my friend. That puts you in. So yeah, that does put you in overall at a 30% chance probability here of seeing severe weather overall. So definitely need you to be weather aware out here. Now, we grabbed some soundings out there. It did kind of suggest that all hazards would be a concern overall. So yeah, keep an eye out there for the potential, for all hazards overall. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for it. All right, Ashley, I got you. Let's go ahead and take a look at yours. You, my friend, are up here in Missouri. So you're kind of in, so you're out there by Springfield. So southwest Missouri. So for Sunday, we have a level 2 severe weather threat out here. So yeah, your concern for severe weather is going to be sometime in kind of in the afternoon-ish on Sunday. So given the environment here, tornadoes will be possible. There's a little bit of veering winds, slight arch in our photograph here. So tornadoes can't be ruled out. Definitely is going to be a potential concern. Actually, hail and damaging winds do seem like a pretty good concern as well. I think that's going to be the main driver. Damaging wind gusts and hail are going to be like the main 2 primary concerns, and then we cannot rule out tornadic activity. So really a triple concern here. Or a triple threat, I should say, overall. So we'll definitely need you to keep an eye out there for really all hazards here. That is that. Let's see here. Jess, really? That's funny. Let's see. Can I take a sounding of northern Indiana for South Bend Sunday, please? Yeah, I got you. Got you, my friend. Let's go ahead and grab a sounding here. So, NAM... the model we're looking at here for late Sunday, kind of going into early Monday here. Let's see here what the environment looks like. So we do have some pretty decent veering going on. Yeah, lower level winds are pretty strong too. Pretty decent. Arching photographs here. Veering lower level winds, decent helicity values will definitely contribute to potential tornadic activity. So keep that in mind. Also, some gusty winds. We do have some results from the SARS of maybe some, hail being a big concern. I could see that, relatively dry mid, a little bit of a lower dry environment here in the atmosphere. Could definitely promote some hail growth and whatnot. Hail definitely does seem to be a concern. Tornadic activity as well does seem to be a concern as well, and damaging winds. Really kind of a triple threat in general. So yeah, definitely need to keep an eye out there for it. What about the timing? So timing's still little bit early to look at. So we're not going to look at timing quite yet, just because it's still a little bit early in general. So let's see here. Oversteer, like I mentioned, looking at moderate risk, like I said, we can't tell if there's going to be a moderate risk or not. That's up to SPC and how the models continue to handle it. So, Kimberly says, what about Fulton, Kentucky? Gotcha. Over the next couple of days. So Kentucky is in that risk on Sunday. So Sunday's going to be the main day you do need to be looking out for. So we're in that level 3 threat. Really all hazards. I mean, we grab soundings up in northwestern Tennessee, which, would likely kind of consider your environment as well. So what we did conclude is that, all hazards will be possible. Tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. You have a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather out here. So, there is going to be the threat for all hazards, I definitely do believe. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Once again, 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather within a 25-mile radius of your location there. See, MD says, thank you, Andrew. No problem. Melody says, thank you for keeping people informed. Andrew, it's greatly appreciated. How does it sound to look for Huntsville, Alabama? You are very welcome, my friend. So Huntsville is in that level 3 threat. Let's take a look at the NAM here. Kind of see what we might be dealing with here. So this is for kind of the morning here of Monday. Possibly early concern here. We'll have to see. Like I said, it's still a little early with timing specifically, but okay, so there is definitely a little bit of veering winds going on here. Tornadoes definitely could be possible in this environment here. You can see our winds at the surface kind of start going to the north, and then they gradually change more to the northeast as we go up in altitude. So that gives potential tornadic concern. Helicity values are pretty decent as well. So yeah, tornadoes will be a concern. Damaging winds and hail, kind of a triple threat, seems to be a concern. Here for kind of Monday morning, kind of looks like. But we'll see. Once again, timing is still a little iffy. But yeah, all hazards does seem to be a concern there. How severe do I think that zip code is looking for tornado-wise? So right now we don't have the exact tornado probability breakdown from Storm Prediction Center. We'll let you know when we have that. We'll have that tomorrow. Tomorrow's update, when we do it, we'll actually have tornado probability. So we'll be able to get really into the depth there. But Indianapolis here, we are at level 3 overall severe weather threat in general. Which, yeah, I mean, we were grabbing some soundings out there earlier, which I'll do again real quickly. So looking at Indiana here, kind of for late Sunday, grabbing a sounding here from NAM just to kind of see what we're looking at. So you can see that there is definitely some. We have an arching hodograph here. We have that lower level veering going on, that change in wind direction. As we go up in altitude, that does create an environment where tornadoes will be possible. Pretty decent helicity too. So yeah, tornadoes will be a concern. Exact probability wise, I cannot tell you because SPC did not. So SPC does not have that available yet. Once again, we'll have that available tomorrow. But I would definitely say tornadoes will definitely be kind of one of the main concerns. Also damaging wind gusts too. So potential for strong winds and damaging winds seems to be kind of the main concern in that sounding there. Eden wants me to take a look at a zip code for Monday. Gotcha. Let's go and take a look at it. You, my friend. Tallahassee. Gotcha. So, yeah, for Monday, you are in that 15% risk area here. Let me see, though, kind of what we got going on out here. So, okay, so we're going to grab a sounding here. This is kind of for late Monday out there kind of by Tallahassee. Let's just grab a sounding out here towards the Panhandle, Florida. Roughly kind of see what the atmosphere could look like. So, our lower level winds are fairly weak. There's a little bit of veering, though. Tornadoes could be a concern, but they would likely remain weak. The further south we are, the more that the lower level winds are weaker. The closer we get to the Midwest and the Ohio Valley, the stronger our lower level winds become because the closer we get to that cyclone. With that being said, our mid-upper level winds are pretty strong, which could definitely promote some pretty good organization within storms. So given that, damaging winds and hail seems to be the main problem, but I would not rule out tornadoes. But given that sounding in that environment, it seems to be kind of a lower end concern here. So, Van says, "Hi, Andrew. I live in a town called Dunnville, Ontario, by Hamilton. Is that Canada? See, north side of Lake Erie. What is our biggest worry? Let me pull that up here. Yeah, that's in Canada, right? Well, SPC Outlooks doesn't reach out there, but if we were to use our imagination, I mean, you can see you're kind of in that level 2 threat. I mean, if we were to use our imagination to fill the void, yeah, I mean, you're kind of in that level 2 threat for Sunday, even though you're in Canada. But anyways, let me grab a sounding here. So, yeah, you're kind of really far up there. I mean, you're not really far from Buffalo. Yeah, you're right next to Buffalo here. So, okay, so NAM, let's just grab a little sounding out here. Kind of see what the atmosphere could be capable of doing. All right, big capping inversion, lower atmosphere. Storms could definitely have a little bit of trouble firing off here. Let's see, GFS shows like no instability out here. Yeah, so this is for pretty much early Monday. Let me grab another sounding here for a little bit earlier, see what happens. Temperature inversion there. I don't know. Storms might have a little trouble firing here. But, I mean, given concerns if they were to happen, possibly some gusty winds, there is a little bit of veering. So, wouldn't rule out tornadic concern. Yeah, tornadoes can't be ruled out. Maybe some gusty winds as well. But, your area's a little harder to forecast for. All right, let's see here. Am I catching up finally? Holy cow. By the way, guys, if you could leave a like, hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. Let's see here. Sean says, "Hey, Andrew, an ETA if possible. Thanks in advance, no problem." So, yeah, timing's a little iffy still, like I said, but I will give you an idea. So Southern Illinois, you are in that level 3 threat. Models, let's see here, kind of suggest that instability kind of rolls through. Pretty much late Sunday. About pretty much all I can tell you is that kind of late Sunday is going to be when you can expect some of that activity to roll through. That's kind of when the environment is at its prime. Looking at a sounding here, tornadoes. We definitely have a veering lower level winds here, arching photographs, decent helicity values. Tornadoes will be a concern. Actually, a big concern here. Our mid-lower atmosphere is pretty dry and a pretty good amount of instability here. Also, SARS has lots of results regarding hail. Hail will be a concern in this environment. Tornadoes, hail, and also damaging wind gusts. I mean, decape nearly 700 with, our lower level winds being a good 40, 45 knots, at a couple kilometers or a kilometer or so up. So it wouldn't take much to get those strong winds to the surface, given a strong downburst. All hazards, is a concern for that region there. What's up, Southern? Hope you're doing good. Saying hello from Carrollton, Texas. What's up? Moderate says, can I do Petersburg, Virginia? Yep, I got you. Take a look at your area. So Virginia has that threat on Monday. It's out by the Richmond area. Yeah, gotcha. So you're at a 15% chance probability for severe weather on Monday. So as we go into pretty much late Monday, it kind of seems like late Monday might be your main time. Oh yeah, look at that. See our photograph? How we have that that little veering there, that arch, veering lower level winds, decent helicity. Yeah, tornadoes seems to be a concern. Lower storm bases as well. Yeah, tornadoes is a concern here. Good moisture supply too. Tornadoes and hail, also gusty winds, it would likely be a concern there. So definitely keep an eye out there for that. Ashley says, thank you, you're awesome. No problem. What's up, Red Cyclonic? Hope you're doing all right. My son's in Madison, Missouri. Can you check his sounding there? Yes, I got you. Gotcha. We are almost at 29,830 subs. Someone, if you could, hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. All right, so this area is in a level 2, slight risk out there for severe weather. So you're kind of in like the northeastern side. So when I was looking at soundings earlier, and the timing in general, it looks like we are going to have storms relatively early on Sunday. Let's grab a sounding here. Let's see what we are looking at. Okay, so we do have, so there is some veering, arching photographs once again, decent helicity. So tornadoes is a concern. Maybe some hail as well. Kind of all hazards is kind of the concern here. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out there for that. Tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. We'll definitely keep an eye out there for that. All right, Destiny, I got you, my friend. I am almost caught up in chat. Goodness. I wonder how many zip codes. If there was a zip code counter, dude, that'd be something else. All right, so we are up here towards Indianapolis. So I've already gathered a lot of soundings up here. So up here by Indianapolis, we do have that level 3 severe weather threat. So we do have at least, like I said, a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather within a 25-mile radius of your location. So that is that. The soundings that we did grab, because I do remember them, out there by Indianapolis, it does look like that all hazards will be a concern out there. So tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds there. Bean wants me to take a look at a zip code at midnight. Yep, gotcha. Let's take a look here. So for Sunday, you have a marginal. But for tonight, you are not in the risk for severe weather. So I can already tell you from SPC there's no risk for severe weather, but since you requested a sounding for tonight, I guess I could. See, on the NAM model, see, there's a pretty good amount of instability, though. A pretty good amount of fuel for storms, but our wind shear is likely pretty weak. Okay. Ignore that does say tornado. Yes. So our winds are definitely kind of an interesting movement here. Actually, our winds are going to the northwest and gradually turning to the north with altitude. I mean, given NAM here, that does suggest maybe a tornadic environment. Let's try. Let me try another model here. Let's try RAP. Let's see what RAP suggests here. Just curious. I mean, kind of the same thing, but not as much of a concern. Helicity is a lot lower on the RAP model, you know, because there is such thing as models being crazy. And NAM is definitely one of those models that's known to be pretty crazy. If you're deeply in the weather like I am, you would know that NAM is a crazy model. So yeah, I mean, given between the RAP and GFS, that's not much of a tornado concern. But NAM is just being crazy. NAM it is. That's suggesting that. But yeah, SPC does not have you in the risk area, which, you know, that's just kind of telling you that, you know, there's nothing really crazy to look out for. So what's it look like for Pennsylvania? It looks like the storm is, we'll clip parts of it. Yeah, so Pennsylvania is in that risk here for Saturday. So Saturday, there's a lot of that 15% chance probability that goes through Pennsylvania. So yeah, heads up to Pennsylvania here for Monday overall. We do have a 15% chance probability overall. Lana says, hey, Andrew, we just had some thunder and heavy rain at time. All good here. That's good. Glad to have you here. Colton, I got you, my friend. Let's go and take a look at your zip code. See what we got going on out here. All right, so you're out there by Indianapolis. So yeah, there's a lot of people, I tell you, from Indianapolis area. So in Indianapolis, we do have a level 3 severe weather threat. That is a enhanced risk. That's a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather overall. So we did mention that all hazards, yes, will likely be a concern. Tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. So we'll definitely have to look out there for that. Definitely need to look out there for that. Braven wants to look at the forecast. Okay, let me see here. It's in South Dakota. Gotcha. So there's no severe weather for today. Yeah, not really expecting any severe weather. Tomorrow, a couple thunderstorms are possible in the day 2 outlook, but yeah, no severe weather is expected out there. Could have a sounding for Nashville, Tennessee, Sunday if there's any chances. Yeah, so Nashville is in the risk here for Sunday, of course. So given soundings like from NAM and whatnot, you can see that we definitely do build in a pretty good amount of instability kind of for early Monday. Let me grab a sounding here from NAM. See what we're looking at here. Oh, wow. Look at that photograph, dude. Holy cow. That's like a curly slide. It goes like a big... Oh, buddy. All right. Well, I mean, given that environment, lower level veering, I mean, yeah, maybe some tornadic activity seems to be a concern. Other soundings I did grab, not as crazy as that photograph, but given helicity, given that veering in that the photographs, yeah, tornadic activity does seem possible. Also, large hail could be a concern as well, and some gusty winds within the storm, but... Dude, that photograph is something else, man. Let's see here. Can I do Lawrenceville, Georgia? Yeah, gotcha. Let's see what we got going on out here. Lawrenceville, Georgia. Alrighty. So, here for Monday, we have a 15% chance probability for severe weather out here. Let me grab... soundings. Let's just see kind of what the atmosphere could be doing. All right, so yeah, mostly straight photographs. I know that indicates tornadoes, but you know, there's not much veering going on. We do have some helicity that might support some weak low-end tornadoes, so I'm not going to rule out tornadoes, but I don't think they're going to be much of a big concern. Given that, damaging winds and hail are kind of the main primary concern. So right now you have a 15% chance probability here of seeing severe weather. What about Hershey, Pennsylvania? So I do know that some of Pennsylvania, including you, are in the 15% chance probability for severe weather on Monday. So given that, kind of for southeastern Pennsylvania, let's grab a sounding here for late Monday. See what the environment looks like it could be capable of. So, okay, this sounding does indicate maybe some weak tornadic activity could be possible. Definitely some strong winds and hail seem to be the main concern. But, yeah, all hazards, tornadic activity, damaging winds, and hail cannot be ruled out. All right, Jason, I got you. You're up in Ohio. You're up here towards Cincinnati area. Got you. So, yeah, you're in that, I believe you're in enhanced risk here. Yep, so you're in that level 3 threat for Sunday. So it's a 30% chance probability of severe weather. Now, we did grab some soundings earlier out there by Cincinnati, but we'll go ahead and grab some more. This is from pretty much morning of Monday, at least from NAM, kind of suggesting early Monday. Got some lower level veering, some arching photographs, decent helicity. Yeah, tornadoes will be a concern. Maybe some hail, maybe some gusty winds too. Yeah, being a concern. But yeah, all hazards here as well. Does seem to be a concern. Jess says, will I be live over the weekend? Yes. Yes. I'll be live to help you guys stay weather aware and updated and everything. So we're here for you. I'll be live during the event, during some of it too. I'm most likely going to cover night shift though. So I'm going to cover night times because, you know, everybody go live during the daytime. I'm going to cover nights because nights are going to be needed to be covered too. So, but you're very helpful for my area. I'm very glad to be able to help you, my friend. Colton, I think we already did your area. So go back on the stream. Yeah, because we already did your zip code. All right, let's see here. See, what about for Sunday night? What kind of damage will we get? Okay, gotcha. Let me grab your zip code real quickly. You, my friend, are, let's see here, up here in Florida. Gotcha. So you're not super far from me. You're a little north of me. So, okay, we do have a 15% chance probability of severe weather here on Monday. Looking at soundings, though, let's see here. Yeah, so as we approach our way into kind of late Monday, early Tuesday, NAM does show a decent amount of instability out here. Not much veering. Our lower level winds are very weak, so tornadic activity does not seem to be a concern. Actually, the main concern, given this environment, is actually hail and damaging winds. So, you know, damaging wind gusts and hail is your main concern. Tornadoes does not seem to be much of a concern, at least given this model, this sounding, you know, everything like that. You're welcome, Bean. What's up, Roadster Jim? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness. Jazz coming in with 10 gifted memberships. Jazz, thank you so much for the support. Y'all in chat, give Jazz a big thank you for the memberships. That is really, really nice of you, my friend. That is really, really sweet. Jazz, thank you so much for that. That is really appreciated. That is really, really nice of you, my friend. Y'all, once again, please give Jazz a big thank you for that. I really appreciate it. So you're awesome, Andrew. Look at how helpful you are for us followers. I try my hardest to keep you all weather aware. You know, I'm a one guy team here, and I try to do my best. But what about Chicago? So John's Chicago is in the risk here. Overall, all hazards does seem to be a concern. In general, we do have a level 2 threat for most of Chicago here. That level 2. That's a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather. Once again, thank you so much, Jazz. I appreciate it. Carolina says, hey, Andrew, for Nashville and Sunday, will it be discrete supercell or linear? So, or will it be discrete supercells or linear? So this whole event's likely just going to be a long line of storms, you know, on the cold front. It depends on the cap. If there's a strong capping inversion or a warm layer in the atmosphere in the warm sector, that could prevent super or discrete cells from firing. It depends on that cap, and since we're still several days out, you know, if that cap is not there, that could make, you know, prefrontals a lot easier to develop. Early to tell, honestly. It's a bit early to tell. Can you explain what you mean by sounding? So a sounding is simply just a weather model's example of what the atmosphere could look like at a certain place in a certain time. So I grabbed a sounding here for Florida, and this just tells us information, you know, like how strong the winds are and throughout the atmosphere, not just ground level, but also upper level. So, you know, wind shear, thermodynamics, just what the atmosphere is capable of doing. I know there's a lot of gibberish to a lot of people on here, but this just really tells me, what the atmosphere could be looking like. What's very important in these soundings is, what our thermodynamics are doing. You can see, for example, I see a pretty dry mid-atmosphere in this sounding, decent mid-upper level wind shear. It just gives us ideas of kind of what the atmosphere could be doing, essentially. Thank you for doing night shift. Found you last year and helped us get the safety before siren sound to keep it up. Thank you, Ace. I appreciate it. Oh, buddy. Soundings take a vertical analysis of the atmosphere. Great for wind speeds, direction, help predict severe weather. Yep. Pretty much. Yeah, it's really good to kind of show us what the atmosphere will be capable of doing, essentially. All right, what about Memphis? So Memphis, we do have a level 3 severe weather threat from Storm Prediction Center, so that's a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather within a 25-mile radius of a given area. So Memphis has a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather, and grabbing soundings, to kind of see what the atmosphere could be capable of doing. Here for late Sunday, this is the NAM model. NAM suggests possible tornadic activity. We do have a little bit of veering lower level winds. So the winds are, at surface level, winds are going to the north, coming from the south, going to the north. And as we go up a kilometer or so, the wind direction changes to the northeast. So with that being said, there is potential for tornadic activity in this sounding. There's just one little layer here between like 1 and 3 kilometers of a pretty dry lower level atmosphere that could promote hail growth. Decent amounts of instability throughout the atmosphere too. Honestly, hail, damaging winds, and tornadic activity is going to be possible out there. You're welcome, Carolina. Severe weather isn't likely for my area, but small hail is possible. Can I please check a sounding for my area for timing tonight and tomorrow? Yeah, I got you. Let me see. Oh, first I probably should look where you're at. That might help. You're in Colorado. Oh, you're up by Denver. Gotcha. We do have a thunderstorm threat out there. Nothing for severe, though. Elevation with... look at that. Look at that little thin amount of instability that rolls through there. To be quite honest with you, there's really not a reason to look for soundings here. I mean, yeah, the environment out here, while it is possible for a few booms of thunder, is not going to be capable of doing really anything crazy. Welcome, Jess. Did I do zip codes for Michigan? I think we've done some for Michigan. I've done so many zip codes in this live stream. I can't even keep up with them all. But Vienna, I think earlier I remember you gave me a zip code, and I did that. I'm not sure if that was in Michigan or not, but if you have a zip code in Michigan that you want me to look at, let me know. Let's see here. Mega Man coming in here with zip code. I got you. Renita coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Renita. I appreciate it. Mega Man, I'll get to you in a second. Renita says, I'm so sorry, Andrew, in chat. No reason to be sorry. Would I be safer in a hotel? I know I've asked before, but I'm just so nervous and confused. I got you. It depends on the layout of your home, honestly. But like I said, given the threat that we do have out there by your area, we were talking that, damaging winds would probably likely be the main concern. Renita, that's solely up to you. I think you'd be okay to run it out if you have a solid house. Then yeah, tornadic threat's probably not going to be as significant out here by where you live as opposed to areas out by the Midwest. The Ohio Valley. Your main problem, like we were looking at earlier, I think is going to be just some gusty winds and whatnot. So I think you'd be fine staying in your house. But if it makes you feel better, whatever makes you feel better, that's up to you. That is up to you. Anyways, but yeah, so Renita, once again, thank you for the 5. Try not to worry about it. I get it. It's a little nerve-wracking. That's up to you. But if it, like I said, if it makes you feel better, then yeah. All right, Mega Man, you are in the level 1 threat for Sunday. You're in the marginal level 1 severe weather threat. So you got a 5% chance probability of seeing severe weather. Now, hopping down here to, let's see here, hopping back to the instability and whatnot. So grabbing a sounding here. Kind of for late Sunday. Let's just grab one out here by between Dallas and Dallas-Fort Worth area. Let's see. All right, so lower level winds are extremely weak. Yeah, not really much to our lower level winds, to be quite honest. Honestly, though, otherwise, there's a lot of on the SARS analog here, there's a lot of results, suggesting some large hail, which makes sense. I mean, we have a pretty, an area in our lower mid-atmosphere of relatively dry air and good instability that could definitely promote hail growth, I believe. Also, high decate values, suggesting strong downwards energy there. That could really support damaging winds and, like I said, hail. Hail and damaging winds are kind of a main concern out there, I think, between Dallas-Fort Worth area for Sunday. Is zip code in the slight or greater for Sunday, Andrew? Let me pull up the zip code here for you. David says, any updates on Austin, Arkansas? Oh, sorry, I accidentally skipped over you. I didn't mean to do that. I just saw your comment. Here, all right, Caroline, I'll get to you in 1 second. Let me get Austin, or not Austin's. Sorry, David's. In Austin, Arkansas. Let's see here. Okay, so you're in that level 3 severe weather threat, my friend. So, David, you have a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather in general here on Sunday. Given the environment here, looking for late Sunday. Let me look at the soundings here. So, okay. So, there's a little bit of veering. Our lower level winds are fairly weak. Tornadic activity would likely be low if we did have it. I think main concern is definitely going to be potential for hail and damaging winds here. We do have some pretty good results, of that. So, while all hazards, I think, will be a concern, I think damaging winds and hail would kind of be the main concerns there. All right, Caroline, I got you, my friend. Let me see what we got going on here for your area. You want to know if the slight or greater. So you are in the enhanced risk. That's a level 3 threat. That's above a slight risk. So, yeah, definitely need you to be weather aware out here. That's a 30% chance probability overall of seeing severe weather. So, Brandon, yes, Sunday you do need to be weather aware. Benton, Kentucky is in that risk here. You can see here, this is Sunday's risk. We have that level 3 threat across the orange, level 2 across the yellow, and the level 1 across the green. So, definitely need you to be weather aware. Margot, gotcha. Let me go ahead and pull up your area real quickly. You said up here in Tennessee, gotcha. Yeah, so you're out there by Nashville as well. So, yeah, you do have a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather. That is a level 3 severe weather threat, by the way. So, with that being said, what we were looking at on the soundings earlier, it did suggest all hazards being a concern here. So, Russell said, I own a trucking company. I got a load going from Arkansas to Atlanta. How's Atlanta looking for Sunday? Got you, my friend. So, Sunday, Atlanta has a little concern. More of Monday is going to be the main concern for severe weather. So, late Sunday going into early Monday is kind of when that threat for Atlanta is going to be overall. So, that is that. And for the main concern, it's going to be mostly like early kind of afternoon, evening of Monday overall. Just pretty much throughout Monday. It's going to be the main concern. But for Sunday, for Atlanta, the threat's going to be relatively low. There is a little bit of instability that builds out there, so, I couldn't rule off maybe a couple pop-up storms. But, yeah, it's not really until Monday is when that main concern is. A little bit of veering there in that environment. So, I'd still look out for maybe some storms on Sunday, but the severe, the really big ones are going to be on, like, early Monday. Okay, let's see, what about Indianapolis for Sunday? Yeah, so Indianapolis, we do have, I grabbed a lot of soundings out there. So we have a level 3 threat for severe weather. That is a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather. Given soundings, tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds is a concern here. So that's that. Let's see here. Let's see here. Moss, thank you so much for the 10, my friend. I appreciate your support. Saying just join the chat. What about Huntsville, Alabama? Thank you, dude, for the 10. I don't know how you say the first name. I'm so sorry. But I do see Moss. I appreciate that, my friend. So Huntsville, we are right on the edge of that level 3 threat. You have a level 2 severe weather threat out there. That's a slight risk for Sunday. So grabbing a sounding out here, we're going to take a look and kind of see what the NAM is suggesting. The model-wise. There is a bit of veering in our lower atmosphere, a little bit of a curvature to our hodograph, and decent helicity, which does support possible tornadic activity here. With that being said, there's a little layer in the lower atmosphere that's relatively dry with a good amount of instability. Plus, given the analog, the SARS here, given some results, hail would be a concern too, and also given that we have some pretty strong lower level winds and high decape values would definitely suggest damaging winds. So in this environment, damaging wind gusts, large hail, and tornadic activity does seem to be possible. But thank you for the 10, man. I appreciate that. Stacey says, hello, Andrew. Greetings from Michigan. Thank you, as always. No problem. You're very, very welcome. You are very welcome, y'all. Let's see here. Could Sunday turn moderate? I mean, it could, but I'm going to leave that up to SPC. That's up to them. I mean, given from what I've seen, there is potential for definitely significant severe weather. We'll see what happens. I mean, there is definitely already a large enhanced risk, so we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if there was. I'm just going to say that. But I'm not going to say yes, there will be, or no, there won't, because, there's no way being for sure. But hoops, I think it's possible. It just depends also on models. If they continue to hold their significance, or if they get stronger, or if they get weaker, that'll determine if we need an upgrade or not. Let's see here. Dude, no way, man. Proxy coming in with a 20 gifted. Dude. Proxy, thank you so much for the 20 gifted memberships. Dude, that is crazy. That is actually really crazy. Proxy, thank you so much for the 20 gifted now, dude. Wow. Y'all in chat, please give Proxy a big thank you. Dude, no way, man. Proxy, you are a legend. Thank you so much for your support. If there's anything I can do to help you, Prox, once again, feel free to let me know. That is really, really sweet of you. I really appreciate that, Prox. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much, guys. Y'all definitely did not have to do that. Well, congrats to the people who got memberships now. That is awesome, dude. Yeah, between Jazz and Prox, thank you, guys. I appreciate everybody as well for supporting us. Thank you to our supporters. I mean, thank you to everybody, really, for just hanging out here. I appreciate y'all. I really appreciate y'all. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But guys, if y'all have any final questions here, we're probably gonna roll off here relatively soon. We've been live for an hour and a half, so I'm probably gonna head off for tonight very soon. But I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining. And tomorrow we'll pick up on this as well. I'm going to try. I was wanting to do a morning live stream this morning. It just didn't work out. But we did. At least we're here. At least we did one this evening. I'm going to shoot for another one tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens. But if not, we'll definitely do another one tomorrow evening here as well. We'll keep y'all updated. We'll make sure you guys are staying weather aware out there. Let's see here. Red dirt. Thanks, man. Honestly, I'm probably going to cut it soon. It needs cut. What's my prediction for Johnson City, Tennessee on Monday? So I think Tennessee in general needs to definitely be weather aware. We grabbed a lot of soundings out there, especially for areas by Nashville and whatnot. Obviously, your eastern side. So yeah, Tennessee in general needs to watch out. Since you're on the eastern side, your main threat's going to be on Monday. And if I remember correctly, we did have some other people out here request soundings and stuff, which I believe the main concern from what I saw was going to be damaging wind gusts. Yeah, so yeah, you can see the photograph is just pretty much straight, indicating that the winds are not really changing their direction very much with altitude. Winds are mostly blowing in the same direction. So yeah, tornadoes aren't the main concern. Given we still do have some decent mid-lower level winds here, decape's pretty low, though. I ain't gonna lie. Definitely some gusty winds could be a concern in general. So that's gonna be pretty much early Monday. Let's see here. How about me for severe weather Monday? Jarrett, I don't remember where you're at, dude. If you can, make sure you put where you're at, because I can't remember where everybody's at, dude. No problem, Carolina. How strong is the cap? Depends on where, but for Sunday, you can see that the cap's pretty strong. Starting off Sunday, anyways, and as we approach the afternoon and evening, a lot of that cap does break. There could be some prefrontals out there, especially towards Louisiana, Mississippi, if that cap is broken. We'll see, though. It's a little early to take that too serious at the current moment, considering this is still like 3 days out. There's a little bit of room for changes here. Proxy. I do rob a few banks periodically. Jeez, I know you're joking. You better be Prox. I just play it with you. But yeah, seriously, Proxy, thank you so much for your support as always. I really appreciate you. You definitely helped me out a ton. Can never thank you enough. Jared says I'm from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Okay, let me pull this up. So Massachusetts. Let's see. So yeah, you're actually not in that risk here. Monday they did extend that risk into more of New England, but that's sorry. I was thinking you're in New Hampshire. No, you are in a 15%. Good thing I pulled that up. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking for some reason you're up in New Hampshire. But yeah, they did extend that 15% risk area up into your region. When I was looking at the models earlier, though, to be quite fair, a lot of that instability really, really fades out as we approach. I mean, you can see just how thin it gets. But yeah, I mean, SPC does have you in that 15% risk out there for severe weather. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. Let's see here. Where do I think this could go moderate and why? Like I said, that's up to SPC, and that also depends on, what essentially happens. But in my opinion, if we did get one, remember, take this with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion. If we did get a moderate, it would likely be somewhere in the Midwest, in like the Tennessee, Ohio Valley, possibly out there by like Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, maybe. Like I said, that's totally up to SPC. Also, it also really relies on if the models continue to hold their significance or not. And the reason why I did say that is because that's where your mixture of, the best ratio of instability to kinematics, or best wind shear to instability ratios. There's great support, great lower level winds out there. I mean, in my opinion, I think that the greatest concern for that would be in those regions. But like I said, that's up to SPC. Once again, I'm not saying there will be. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, but we'll see what happens. Can I check on Greenwood, South Carolina for me? Yeah, I gotcha. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. All right, so you up here in, okay, so yeah, you're in South Carolina. So for Monday, you have a 15% severe weather risk. Let's see here. Let's go and pull up models. So for late Monday, let's grab a sounding out here by you, see what the NAM kind of suggests. But yeah, that is that. Let me see. Okay, so given soundings here from NAM, yeah, you can see there is a little bit of lower level veering. We do have a bit of an arching photograph here. Decent helicity, yeah, tornadoes would be a concern in this environment. Hail and damaging winds. So yeah, given our lower level winds are pretty strong, 50, 60 knots. Decape values are in excess of 600 joules per kilogram. Damaging winds will be a concern. We do have some results. We do have a little bit of a dry mid-level atmosphere, given good instability in that layer too. All hazards really can seem to be a concern in this sounding. Tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds. So we'll see. Let's see here. Peach says, what about Northwest New Jersey? Let's see. Why did I literally look up Northwest New Jersey? I'm an idiot. It's getting late. So we do, for all of New Jersey for Monday, we have a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather out here. Looking at the models, let's hop to GFS here. Yeah, it seems like our instability really fades according to GFS once we approach these areas. Pretty good wind shear. Kind of a bad environment. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But just know SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, does have you in a 15% chance. No matter where you're at in New Jersey, there is that potential. Prox says, Andrew, I'm more than happy to give you a cut of unscheduled banking proceeds. Oh my gosh, Proxy. Oh, geez. Seriously, though, Prox, though, as always, thank you so much for your support. You've helped me out so much, and I can never thank you enough. I really can never thank you enough. And obviously, if there's anything I could ever do for you, Prox, let me know, okay? I'm here for you. I appreciate it very, very much. All right, Play-Doh. Gotcha. Let's go and take a look at yours real quickly. We're going to be heading off here pretty soon, though, guys. We've been live for an hour and almost 45 minutes, an hour and 45. So pretty solid update tonight. We've been doing like almost 2-hour live streams the last couple of live streams here, which is good. I'm definitely glad to be able to get that info for you. All right, so you, my friend, are in a level 3 enhanced risk for severe weather on Sunday. That is a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather in general. So I did grab a lot of soundings out here earlier, and it did suggest all hazards. Tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. Their exact probability as of right now is unknown because the Storm Prediction Center has not issued that risk yet. Or the probable outlook yet. But just generally speaking, as a collective of all severe weather, there is a 30% chance probability of seeing severe weather overall in that level 3 severe weather threat. So we'll keep an eye out there for that. Tomorrow we will have the breakdown available to us to let us know, the exact probability for tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds out there. So definitely need you to be weather aware. What about Cutler, Ohio, looking like for Sunday night and Monday? Gotcha. Let's see here. You, my friend, are up in the level 2 slight risk. That's a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather. Given the models here, let's pull up the NAM. Yeah, see there's a little bit of a difference here, as you can kind of tell, between the NAM and the GFS. So there still is a little bit of model disagreement here. Plus NAM is just kind of crazy. But given the environment here is a little bit of a cap, storms could have a little bit of trouble coming through. But, generally speaking, given the environment, our wind shear profile, tornadoes cannot be ruled out. Also potential for maybe some small hail and some gusty winds. But yeah, you have a 15% chance probability overall of seeing severe weather as of right now. But anyways, alrighty, everybody. Well, I'm probably going to roll off here for now. I just want to go ahead and say thank you, everybody, for joining us. I really appreciate y'all. Oh, my goodness. I am so sorry. Renita gave us a $10 Cash App donation here a few minutes ago. I just missed it. I'm so sorry. Renita, thank you so much for the 10. If you're still here, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's very, very sweet of you. I'm sorry I didn't get to that here. I feel bad. I just was so focused on my screens, I didn't even look down at my phone to get that notification. But thank you so much, Renita, for the 10 on Cash App. I really appreciate that, my friend. I really, really do. So, thank you, everybody. So, Renita, thank you so much for the support. Let me go ahead and go through our donators real quickly before I roll off here. Just to once again give everybody a thank you for the people who have supported us directly. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. Let me go ahead and see here. Give a big thank you to Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it. Yargan, Renita here, Proxy, Jazz, as well as Moss. And those are our supporters for the day. Once again, thank you guys seriously so much. Once again, big shout out goes to Proxy, Moss, Renita, Jazz, Yargan, and Chris. Thank you guys. Once again, greatly appreciated. And of course, everybody else for joining us. Thank you all for joining. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Once again, hitting subscribe is free. You just go down, hit subscribe button. It's literally free. That way you guys can stay weather aware and weather updated and stuff. And, leave a like on your way out as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. But alrighty, everybody. Well, once again, thank you all so much for joining us. I really appreciate y'all. Like I said, we'll be here tomorrow. Overall, we'll definitely be here tomorrow to give you guys more information. I'm going to shoot for tomorrow morning, giving an update, and tomorrow evening. But we'll see. Definitely, if not tomorrow morning, we'll definitely do one tomorrow evening regardless. So tomorrow evening, I'll be live again. I'm not sure what time, but we'll figure it out. But K-Jack says, thank you, Andrew, for helping out so many people. You're very appreciated. Have a good night. You too, K-Jack. Thank you for that. Renita says, I understand. You're welcome. Thank you, Renita. Like I said, try not to worry about it, Renita. I know you're a little nervous about those storms, but we'll get through it. I promise you, we'll get through it. And like I said, if it makes you feel better, maybe going to a hotel would be a good thing to maybe kind of lower your nerves a bit. It could be a good thing. But honestly, like I said, given soundings and stuff like that, I couldn't rule out tornadoes, but I don't think they're going to be as much of a concern as they are for areas by the Midwest. And the reason is because that lower level wind shear is a lot less significant the further south you are. The further you are away from that low, that those lower level winds are a little bit weaker down there. So if we did get tornadic activity down in some of those regions, it would likely be weak, relatively brief. But just whatever makes you more. Just whatever makes you feel better, Could be a good thing. It could be a good thing to maybe help ease your nerves. Sonia says, thank you, Andrew. No problem. Thank you. Appreciate it. Proxy says good night, Andrew fam. You as well, Proxy. Once again, thank you for your support. But all right, everybody. Well, thank you all for joining. I really appreciate y'all. Once again, tomorrow we'll be live at some point here to keep you all weather aware and updated. Once again, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, leaving a like. It'll be greatly appreciated. Stream's going to head off here in approximately 1 minute. So go ahead and say goodbye to your friends, your family, anybody you're hanging out with in the chat. And alrighty, my friends, well, thank you all so much for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Try not to worry about the storms. And like I said, we'll keep you all updated. I'll see you guys tomorrow at some point. But all right, everybody, thank you so much for joining. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace out, my friends. See ya later on.